Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dayakaram Dayakaram Dantam Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya Param. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodha Bhidiyate Sarva Vedānta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satgurum Pranatosmyaham. So we were seeing a very important section of the Tattvabodha. Now the Shishya asks the teacher, what is this? Ātmā tarhi kaha? And he replies, saccidānandasvarūpaḥ. So then what is this Atma? Why is he saying then? Then he is saying, because, oh Guru, you have told me everything Atma is not. You have said it is not the Shariratraya. You have said it is not the three bodies. You have said it is not the Panchakoshas. It is not the 5 sheets. It's beyond the 5 sheets. You have also told me it is not the 3 states of awakening. It is beyond the 3 states. You've told me what Atma is not. But my question is, what is Atma then? That is how he is asking it. What does the Guru say? He says, saccidānandasvarūpaḥ. Of course, these are very difficult concepts to understand because we are trying to address something which is formless. How can we describe something which you cannot see? How can you describe something that you cannot smell, taste, touch, or have any access to with the senses? Very, very difficult. That is why these words that are used, Satchitananda, is not an adjective to Atma. It is not describing Atma. Adjective means you describe something, right? You use adjective to describe. Here you cannot describe something formless. So what does Satchitananda really mean? It sounds very nice. Existence, consciousness, ānandaḥ, limitless joy. This is the nature of oneself. Sounds very nice, but what does it really do? What, with these words that our Shastra uses, in fact, you're negating, again, wrong notions about the self. So when I say Atma is Sat, I take myself to be what? I don't take myself to be timeless. Sat means timeless. Sat means it was always there. Sat means it is here very much now. And Sat also means it will continue to exist. Do I take myself to be like this? Definitely not. Somebody is vigorously shaking their head. So I definitely do not take myself to be like this. What do I take myself to be? I take myself to be limited by time. I take myself to be born in time. I take myself to last a length of time. And even though I don't like to accept it, I will definitely go in time as well. So this is what I identify with. This is the antithesis of what our scriptures say you are. Scriptures say totally ulta. They say, you are never born. You will never have an end. You will continue. You always are there. You have always been there. There's never been a birth for you ultimately. There will never be a full stop for you. Every death is nothing but a comma. That's how I like to say it. There's no such thing as death. It is only comma. Because we are the best recycled things on this planet. We keep coming back. Again and again, that is what our scriptures say. Your sukshma sharira, the traveling you, that subtle body will take on another body after you leave this particular form. Another set of karmas to exhaust. So Sat reveals what? Sat reveals that you do not have a time-bound existence on this planet. You think you're time-bound, but Atma, your true nature, is not time-bound. You're not limited by time. Again, one limitation gone. How wonderful. If you really assimilate it, nothing can hurt you in your life, actually. You are never, again, nothing can touch you. Chit means you shine as consciousness. Chit means you come to life as consciousness. What is it that blesses you? What is it that brings you to life? Do you bring yourself to life? That I, ego self? No, you have nothing to do with it. What makes you move? What makes you talk? What makes you walk? What makes you think? That is what we call Chit. Chit is consciousness lit up in the mind. It lights up your thoughts like the torchlight from within. It lights up your thoughts. It lights up your body. It lights up everything. That is called Chit. It is manifest consciousness. Without Chit, you would be dead, corpse. So Chit manifests, brings you to life. And the question next comes, Shastra thinks that you will think if Sat and Chit are in this form, they're you may think that Sat and Chit are limited to one particular form. So the Ananda removes that. Ananta, Ananda are synonyms. Ananta means limitlessness. Ananda means total, complete happiness, absolute joy, which means what? Which means that you are not limited at all. Also, it is limitless, meaning you are all pervasive, that all pervasive truth of the universe is Atma, that is limitless joy, that is your Svarupa. You're not limited by time, place, other bodies. Other people's joy is your joy. That's the beauty of it. When you recognize that Atma is your true essence, what is it you discover? Any joy other people experience is also your joy. When you see people enjoy, your joy is also that. There is no competition here because the other is seen same as you. Other is seen one with you. There is no difference between the other person and yourself. It is only the I thought that limits me to this particular form. And because I'm attached to that I thought, I think that I and then everybody else. I and everybody else. This is our number one issue in life, because whenever I limits itself, there's always others outside me. And that becomes a problem in life, because then I have to compete with the world. Competition begins with that. Then I have to fight for my rights. I have to do everything fighting against all these others that I see. And that is where our Shastra says there's no such thing as other. There is only one. That is the one limitless truth. That is Atma, you. This ānandaḥ means that it is changeless. Atma is changeless. There is no pain in Atma. There's no dukkha in Atma. And it is never subject to negation. Dukkha, unhappiness, only comes in life when you're subject, when you think you're subject to the sixfold changes. When you think you are getting old, when you think you're subject to disease and ill health, when you think you are, again, in this line, if you think you're like that, then you will definitely be subject to dukkha. But here, Atma is not subject to any dukkha. It is recognizing yourself, you're comfortable as you are, whoever you are, you're fully satisfied just sitting with yourself. Who doesn't want that? Just to be with oneself, not trying to achieve something, not trying to become something else. You are evaṃ saccidānandasvarūpaṃ svātmānaṃ vijānīyāt. So there are no problems here in Atma. Problems belong to what? All the problems you face in life belong to the body, mind, senses, right? But you are not the body, mind, senses. So the problems belong to object of your knowledge. They don't belong to you. Once you recognize that, again, you are free from problems. The problems are not lumped on this I, lumped on you as well. There are no mental restrictions as well. You don't need to manipulate people. You don't need to manipulate the world for your joy. That is another recognition of Atma's ānandaḥ, which means what? Nothing needs manipulation for your happiness, because you have discovered yourself to be the source of all joy, source of all happiness. So this is what he says here. ātmā saccidānandasvarūpaḥ san. Citkim, we saw that jñānasvarūpaḥ. Chit is that which manifests in the form of jnanam, knowledge. It shines, it lights up your vrittis, your thoughts in your mind. What brings your thoughts to life? What makes you aware of your thinking? That is Atma's light, lighting up your thoughts. And he says, ānandaḥ kim, which is sukhasvarūpaḥ. Ananda is the form of sukha. So we have seen now what we call is the tvam pada vichara, inquiry into oneself. All of that has been in this book that we have seen so far is inquiry into the individual self. Now, what does the Shastra reveal? Tat tam asi, you are that. So I don't know, who is that? Then the question comes, okay, now I understand who I am. At least intellectually I understand. One should understand. I am Atma, I am this limitless truth. We have understood what our Shastra reveals in this way. But who is that Tat? Who is that? So our Shastra always moves on to understanding what Tat is in life. So Tat means that. Tat means that which is imperceptible, but I pray to that Tat. Who is this Tat? So now the text does Tattvabodha vichara, which is regarding the universe. Wholeness means that equation is what? Tattvamasi. You are that. Then wholeness, if it is oneness, it requires me to understand what that Tattvabodha, that equation, only then the equation will make sense. It is very difficult to understand a mathematical equation if you're a child, right? Any child, two sides there are to any equation. That's why it's called equation. Even if there are two sides, the two sides equal each other. That is why it's called equation. So two sides of an equation, what does it reveal? It reveals difference and non-difference. This is the interesting thing. Yeah, this is a very important point, because it reveals difference and non-difference. So what is the difference? If I say 5 plus 4 equals 108 minus 99. 5 plus 4 equals 108 minus 99. Is that correct? It equals 9, right? So what is the mathematical equation? One side is a plus sign, one side is 5 and 4, other side is a minus sign, one other side is 108 and 99. How do they look to a child? If you put this equation in front of a child, it will say what? I can't see any similarity here. Where is the similarity? This is exactly like Tattvam Asi. If you tell a child, Tattvam Asi, you are that, or child here means person who is not ready to understand that fact of the universe, then the child will not understand, the mind will not understand. But is there really a difference? That's what our Shastra asks. Seemingly externally, there is difference. They look entirely different when you look at it. 108 and 99 and 5 and 4 looked entirely different. Plus and minus look entirely different. But what is the, after the equal sign, what is the sum? It is 9. Both equal 9. This is exactly like the Mahavakya equation given in our Upanishads. Tattvamasi. Outwardly, you look so different. Outwardly, you will ask, how can I be that Lord? How can the Shastra come and tell me you are Bhagavan? It doesn't make sense at all. I know what I am, but I don't know who I am. That is the problem. I know I am. I don't know who I am, what I am. I take myself to be what I am not, and that is why the equation does not make sense to me. So I don't need to rub out the numbers to make sense of the equation. I don't need to rub out any numbers. I don't need to negate anything. Both are equal to 9. Both sides are equal to 9. So how do I understand the equality? How do I understand the equation? Where do I understand? It is purely in the mind. It's a cognitive understanding, which means I don't need to change anything externally. If I understand, if I get it, right? I don't need to rub out 108. I don't need to rub out 5 and 4 to understand. I understand that intrinsically inside, My nature and Ishvara's nature exactly one and the same. It is pure, limitless consciousness. I am the nature of this consciousness. Ishvara also is the nature of this consciousness. So Tat has to be defined. Otherwise, it can stand for anything. We have to understand what this Tat is. What is this Tat? What does this Tat mean? Is it a donkey? Is it a monkey? We don't know what Tat is. It can be anything, right? That. This Tat means it is, again, the universe. Universe is in the form of the Lord. The Lord is in the form of the universe. Everything you touch is Lord, actually. Again, the beautiful Ramana Maharishi says, Jagata Ishadi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Brit Deva Pujanam. He says very clearly, don't limit the Lord to your altar in your home. The Lord is much more than that. He is in the form of this whole universe. The eightfold form of this universe is nothing but Bhagavan for us. He is the five elements. He is the sun and the moon, which are all the luminaries, all the stars. And there's eighth element. What is the eighth? The eighth is you. You are that eighth element that make up the Lord. This is the Lord that you are equal to. So this is the Lord. We try and understand this universe, the Lord that we try and understand through this vichara. So the next step of this text is to understand how this universe is born. How is this universe born? This is where Maya, Mother Māyā comes into the picture. Very important. Without Māyā, we cannot have this universe. She is the creatrix. She is the one who makes the agatita gatana patiyasi Māyā. She makes the impossible possible. What is the impossible possible? She makes the one appear as many. That is impossible, actually, but she does it. How does she do it? We'll see now. So the next section, atha, we can chant that. Atha caturviṃśatitattvotpattiprakāraṃ vakṣyāmaḥ. So a new topic is being introduced now. You can say atha. Whenever you see atha, the word atha in the Shastra, it means new topic. So now, thereafter, after having studied tvam, now we're moving on to tat. Atha it's included in that word. So new topic. So this is the Shrishti Prakara, how this universe has come into existence. Very interesting, very technical. This is what I call Rishi physics. The physics of the Rishi, people who have studied Tattvabodha before, you'll know. There's all these, quarter of this element, that element, all of this. It's called Panchi Karanam. All of this is explained. So atha means thereafter. Tattvotpattiprakāraṃ means Utpatti Prakaram. Tattvopatti is what sandhi? We have seen that in Sanskrit. It's Tattvaha Upapattihi. Becomes Tattvopattihi. See the sandhi working here. It makes a whole compound. Tattvopattihi, Tattva Upapattihi, which means the Upapatti, Vedic cosmology. We would call it Vedic cosmology. And caturviṃśatitattvotpattiprakāraṃ. So this entire cosmos in one of the models is made from 24 basic principles, 24 factors or principles of creation. And he says here, we will explain it. Vakṣyāmaḥ. How beautiful, saying we will explain it. Even that, what does it show? Not I. In our Shastra, you will always find the verb which is used in the collective, we. Why? Because it is explained according to a tradition. It is not one individual explaining it. It is a tradition explaining it. And that's why he says, vakṣyāmaḥ. Vayam, if you remember, we will all explain it, not vakṣyāmi. If it is vakṣyāmi, I explain. Vakṣyāmaḥ. So what are these 24 factors that go towards making this universe? The 5 subtle elements. He says 5 subtle elements are the number 1. The 5 subtle elements are what? They are the space, air, fire, and water, and earth. In subtle form, these go to form the universe. They're born of Māyā. Māyā's trigunātmikā Māyā. And 17 component model of the sukshma, this also goes to form the universe. The 17 component model. So that's 5 plus 17 plus 2 extra added, chittam, which is memory, and ahankara, which is the egoic self. All of this is included in this universe. Everybody who is born has all of this. All beings have this as well. So Brahman, we have to understand, how does this creation come into existence? Brahman cannot create. Brahman is pure awareness. Brahman is just there as awareness. So there has to be an extra factor which helps with the creation. And that is why we call Brahman's power. Brahman's power is what? Shakti. It's called Shakti, and that's called Māyā Shakti. It is the vikshepa Māyā, the projective power of Māyā, that is the cause for creation. She is able to project this world. In fact, this whole world is actually projected. It is said it's like a projection on a screen. It is actually hologramic in a way. Even objects you take in this universe, we have to question, are they really solid? Even science says nothing is solid. What we're sitting on now is what? Space. Half of it is space, right? More than half is space. So nothing is as solid as I take it. It is, again, all projected. It's seeming like it is projected, seeming like it's solid. But even myself, you look at this body, am I this body? I say my body, my arm, my leg, we've seen this vichara before. Is this body really me? Is it real? If I lose a part, if I lose an arm, suppose an accident, people sometimes lose body parts, right? If I lose an arm, do I die? I still continue. If I lose a leg, do I go? No, I still continue. Am I the parts? Am I the parts of the body? Do I define myself by this physical body? I do not. I'm much more than this form. That again, we have to see again and again. Then even if one part goes, my eye goes, ear goes, lots of parts, especially after age, lots of parts are going all the time. Parts are dropping off here, there, everywhere. Is the parts still going? Do I still not exist? I still continue. That I is ātmā. That I which is with you from birth, childhood, youth, old age, that I is ātmā. It is not dependent on any teeth falling out. Atma doesn't have teeth falling out. Atma doesn't have broken hips. Atma doesn't have all these problems, back problems and this problem and that problem. It is a physical body that has all the issues. Atma is free actually from all these issues. You start seeing that I'm much more than this physical body. You will be able to handle so much of, again, bodily discomfort, bodily pain. It gives you so much Shakti to handle that. So this Brahman cannot create anything by itself. It is pure limitless consciousness. Then what happens? It is Brahman, it's called Upadhi. Māyā becomes the limiting Upadhi for Brahman. And limiting means it limits consciousness, makes consciousness into creator. Māyā makes Brahman into as the creator of the Jagat. Brahman becomes called, he gets another name, Jagat Karana Brahma, the creator of the universe. Because Māyā Shakti is there with him, what happens? She projects, that power projects the world, and it looks like the world has actually changed into various things and objects. But what is the truth? Has it really changed? That's what we have to ask. Is there really many things? Are there really many things? That is why we break down everything again and again cognitively. If you break down, there is everything. We are so alike, actually. My body is the same as anybody else's body. It is 5 elements and elementals. My body is the same as the 5 elemental universe. There is no difference here on that level also. And my mind also, there's an order to the mind. My psychology is as per order of Ishvara. Other people's psychology also Ishvara. He pervades the order of psychology. In everybody's psychology, he pervades everybody's mind also. So wherever we look, we find we resolve ourselves into the total. There's no individual left anymore, actually. Physically, I can resolve myself to the whole Jagat. My body is actually not different from a tree. If you look at it, the physical body, what is the difference between the physical body and any kind of plant or anything else in the universe? There's no difference. Same thing it is composed of, same thing it has. It is only consciousness manifesting that makes me individual. consciousness manifesting through the physical body that makes me come alive, that makes all Jagat come alive. Consciousness is not manifesting in a rock. Why? Because the rock doesn't talk. When you pick up a rock, it doesn't say, put me down, does it? If it had a sukshma shariram, it would say, put me down. Why are you picking me up? Then argument will begin. Anything with a sukshma shariram, which has ability to manifest consciousness, you can start fighting with. So that is why even we see, these cartoons, sometimes you see these talking animals, like this, but there's something with a talking pig I saw once, this talking pig, it starts talking. These things can happen sometime. We don't know. If the sukshma shariram takes over a pig form or any other form, it can happen, because sukshma shariram is what makes you, the physical thing, come alive, the physical form. So what is this world? What is this world? This is what here is being discussed. How does it come into existence? He says here, it is born of these 24 tattvas. This actually comes from Sankhya philosophy. There's another philosophy that discusses this elaborately. Vaisheshikas, Sankhya's, they all discuss this creative process. And again, we're going to see it in the next few, the mantras of the Tattvabodha. But actually, I wanted to go through a little bit of this Brahman. What is this Brahman? Brahman is consciousness. It is this word for consciousness. On the universal level is given the word Brahman. On the individual level is given ātmā. But there's no difference. It is just Brahman is explaining consciousness on the universal level. And this consciousness is said to pervade everything in this universe. There is not one place where it doesn't pervade. It is in even the inanimate objects. We think those objects are jadam. We think they're inert. But in fact, Shastra says they're very much alive. Everything has consciousness. It is only that I cannot see it with my physical eyes. I cannot perceive it with my senses. So what our Shastra says very clearly is that there is not one place where Bhagavan is away from you. We call that consciousness Bhagavan. We call that limitless truth so many different names. Ishvaraha, Rama, Shiva. We give many names for that one truth. Is there a place where you can be away, separate from Bhagavan? You cannot. He is always with you. That consciousness is always with you. Even in your lowest moments in your life, that consciousness is always with you. Everything else may leave you in your life. That is, naturally, as one progresses in life, things do leave. Children get older. They have their own lives. They also move on with their lives. Relationships also, as you get older, people start leaving. Leaving meaning even physically they leave this world. That is a natural course of action. What is life then? In fact, life is when you're born here in this world. Life is nothing but, you come with, life is funny because you come with nothing into life and you fight for everything in your life and you go with nothing. That is what life is. You come with nothing, fight for everything, go with nothing. This is what we all do in our life, but we come with nothing. We come with nothing means we don't have any material thing with us when we come. When we leave, we don't take any material things with us when we go. What do we take with us when we go? Only ātmā, consciousness. We don't take even ātmā when we go because ātmā is all pervasive. We take that I sense with us when we go. The only baggage you take with you when you go, no material goods. What is it? Karma. You take your punya papa baggage, biggest baggage you carry with you in the karna shariram. That is what is going to create you recycling in the next janma. That determines where you're born, what parentage you have, who you're born to, how you're born, what kind of body you will have, body structure. We saw that sat karma janyam, what kind of mind you'll be gifted with. I'm saying gifted because all mind is a gift. You may not think your mind is a gift, but Shastra says mind is also gifted. The ability to think and make choices in your life is the biggest gift that a human being is blessed with. No other being on this planet has the gift of choice. That is what differentiates you from animal. So you have the choice. You can make the choice in your life. We are our decisions. Someone wisely said, we are our decisions in life. So we have to be, again, very prayerful that we make the right decisions at the right time. And what gives us this prayerful attitude? Again, this mantra, Gayatri mantra, is the greatest blessing. If you chant the Gayatri mantra, if you cannot make decision, to make proper decision, Gayatri mantra can give you that decision-making capacity in your life. So going back to Brahman, going back to the universe, what does our Shastra say? There are two factors that are needed for this universe, creation of this universe. There is the male aspect, masculine aspect, and the feminine aspect. You see this in many cultures, actually. There's always yin and yang, right? You have it in yin and yang, Shiva, Shakti. You have it in many cultures. There's two factors. And our Shastra, Kalidasa, great Sanskrit poet, has put it, Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro. Who is the Mataji, Pitaji of the universe? Parvati Parameshwaraha. They are the male and female aspects of this whole creation. So everything in this universe has parents. Brahman, Atma, is considered the masculine aspect, which is the, again, masculine aspect is always considered the stillness, the calmness, the peace. That is the masculine energy of the universe. We may not agree with that, but this is what Shastra, what is the feminine aspect? Feminine aspect is that Shakti, the doing, the one that, the one that always does, that Maya Shakti is represented like that. So Brahman is the, Atma is the original father of the universe, and Maya becomes mother of the universe. And this Jagat, it enjoys a certain sense of reality, because for us it looks real. For us, we deal with the reality here. But again, what makes it look real? Even though our Shastra keeps saying is it as real as you think it is? It is not that real as you take it to be. You take it to be absolutely real, but it is not absolute reality that you give it. That is why Maya is brought in. Maya is the potential form of the entire universe. She is in potentials, this Maya. Very, again, very beautiful. She is the universal mother, is called Maya. This consciousness and matter both come together, and this whole universe is born. So universal mother is Maya. She is the seed of the universe. Everything is in potential form in that seed. She is not an independent reality. She is the Shakti of Bhagavan. The power always has to reside with the powerful, right? The power cannot have separate existence without powerful. Who is the powerful? The powerful is considered the masculine aspect. Consciousness is the powerful. And who is the power? The power of manifestation is Maya. And we will see, actually, I don't want to enter it right now, but Maya, we will explain a bit more next time, what is put together in Maya, what brings Maya together, and how she manifests the whole world with her Shakti. So I'm going to leave that for next time, because it's quite elaborate explanation. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaः, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.